What happens when an artist, long underestimated as a soloist, unexpectedly dominates the world's most competitive music charts in a single blow? What if the name that now echoes at the top of Billboard Global 200 and the United World Chart isn't the industry's usual giant, but a name that rose from loyalty, talent, and silence turned into song? The answer is simple, direct, and resounding. Kim Seok-jin. This is not just a chart-topping moment. This is a cultural turning point. As of this week, BTS's Jin has officially claimed the #1 position on both the Billboard Global 200 and the United World Chart with his solo release, Don't Say You Love Me. And in doing so, he has shattered not only expectations but long-held global industry assumptions about what a Korean soloist, particularly one long considered quietly powerful, can achieve on his own. The surge was not predicted. Analysts did not forecast it. And yet, the numbers are undeniable. In its first official week tracking, Don't Say You Love Me outpaced global streaming giants and radio monopolies. The track didn't just climb, it exploded to the top, backed by seismic streaming data, digital downloads, and an emotional resonance that no algorithm can measure. Why this song? Why now? And more importantly, why him? Observers have been forced to reframe everything they assumed about chart behavior and musical impact. Don't Say You Love Me is neither a pop anthem nor a genre experiment. It is a raw, restrained, emotionally surgical track that pierces into the quiet spaces of heartbreak, memory, and identity. It lacks bombast. It offers no commercial gimmick. And yet, that very restraint became its weapon. Listeners didn't just hear Jin, they felt him. Across major cities and small towns, fan bases mobilized with an intensity rarely seen for solo tracks. But unlike manufactured virality, the momentum behind this song was rooted in something deeper, a collective longing. Jin, who had been largely absent from the public eye for a period prior, returned not with spectacle, but with something more confrontational, his voice unguarded. And the world responded. IT would be naive to call this success a product of mere fan loyalty. Yes, ARMY is historically powerful, but the numbers here defy even the strongest fandom mechanics. According to industry metrics, Don't Say You Love Me pulled in high-volume listeners who were not previously active consumers of BTS's music. Regional reports show spikes in Europe, South America, and notably, North America, where the track's radio pickup quadrupled industry expectations within 48 hours. And yet, the most haunting statistic isn't in the millions of streams or the rapid chart escalation. It's in the duration. While most chart-topping songs experience a peak before fading, Jin's single has remained resilient. As of this publication, Don't Say You Love Me is entering its 11th week within the United World Chart's top 40, an endurance that industry veterans admit is structurally uncommon for an Asian solo artist, let alone one promoting a non-English track with minimal Western media rollout. This raises uncomfortable questions for an industry that often measures value through predictability. Why did a ballad, rooted in emotional restraint, sung by an artist known more for subtlety than spectacle, become the most dominant global song of the week? The answer lies not in marketing, but in meaning. Each lyric, each note, carries the weight of unsaid years, the kind of emotional territory Jin has rarely explored in such a public way. For the first time, his artistry did not stand next to 6 others. It stood alone, exposed. And perhaps that is exactly why it succeeded. IT is worth remembering. Jin was never built to conform to the standard image of a solo pop star. He did not ride trends. He did not engage in musical theatrics. His vocals, often called crystalline and searingly human, were always weapons of intimacy, not scale. That he has now taken those very tools and used them to dominate global charts is not just a surprise, It is a recalibration of what solo success means in 2025. There's a reason global headlines are now invoking terms like unprecedented and record-breaking in relation to this achievement. Jin is now the first Korean soloist in history to simultaneously top the Billboard Global 200 and the United World Chart with a debut single from a post-group hiatus. And perhaps more critically, he did it without the media frenzy that usually surrounds such moments. Silently, strategically, and without controversy, Jin reached the summit. This moment is not a gimmick. It is not a digital fluke. It is a statement, one that resonates far beyond ARMY or K-pop. For every artist who has been told their art is too quiet, too emotional, or too subtle to matter, Jin's victory is proof that substance can, in fact, win. And not just win, but dominate. What happens next is uncertain. The song's trajectory has already disrupted release schedules and forced global charts to shift weekly expectations. Labels are now scrambling to understand the formula, while independent artists look to Jin's chart climb as validation for a different kind of sound, one rooted in honesty, not velocity. And yet, amidst the noise of success, the image that remains most striking is not of Jin standing atop the charts, but of Jin holding a microphone, eyes cast downward, as if he himself could hardly believe what had occurred. Because somewhere between the melody and the silence, he did not just release a song, he released a legacy, and the world, finally, is listening. Now the question is not whether Jin deserves this global crown, but whether the industry is ready to admit it. There is something unsettling and simultaneously awe-inspiring about the timing of Jin's global breakthrough. In a year where the music industry has been saturated with hyper-commercial releases, algorithm-chasing singles, and collaborations designed solely to exploit digital metrics, Don't Say You Love Me entered the atmosphere like a slow-burning meteor. It didn't need gimmicks. It didn't come with elaborate social campaigns. There were no viral dance challenges or mass-produced teasers. And yet, it eclipsed them all. Some might call this an anomaly. But that would be intellectually dishonest. What Jin has done is not a statistical miracle. It is a carefully constructed, emotionally devastating musical moment that landed with surgical precision. It is not loud. It is not aggressive. It does not seek to overpower. It simply is, and that, in today's entertainment economy, is revolutionary. And yet, not everyone in the industry is ready to accept what this moment reveals. There have already been murmurs, subtle dismissals from certain analysts, calling the song's rise a result of hyper-fan activity or algorithmic flukes. But those accusations collapse under scrutiny. Data reveals that streaming patterns for Jin's tracks show consistent growth over multiple regions, not sudden spikes from a single fanbase. Moreover, the song has gained organic placements on editorial playlists not affiliated with K-pop, a rare and telling indicator that gatekeepers have been forced to respond to authentic listener demand. In plain terms, this is not fandom inflation. This is a cultural wave. Even more astonishing is the emotional toll this milestone seems to have taken on Jin himself. During his recent live appearance, his voice shook as he attempted to speak. Cameras captured him momentarily turning away, eyes glistening, unable to finish a sentence. That image, so brief, so human, has already gone viral. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was real. He didn't celebrate like a man reaching the top of a mountain. He stood like someone who had survived one. There is perhaps a deeper narrative unfolding beneath the statistics. For years, Jin has been viewed as the silent backbone of BTS, beloved, certainly, but often underrecognized for his depth as a solo artist. He did not rush to release music the moment his schedule opened. He waited. He listened. He prepared. And now, in one single global release, he has articulated not only his sound, but his story, and the story is resonating everywhere. Independent radio stations in Canada, Brazil, the Philippines, Germany, and even the United Arab Emirates have picked up the song without label pressure. It is being played in coffee shops, used in wedding videos, covered by indie singers with no K-pop affiliation. In short, it is living a life far beyond its original context. The implications of this breakthrough go far beyond Jin himself. It cracks open the long-sealed assumptions about language barriers, regional bias, and the limitations placed on Asian artists in global markets. Jin didn't just win. He redefined the rules of engagement, and yet, he remains almost painfully humble. Not a single public appearance since the chart announcement has featured boastful language. No self-congratulation. No lavish celebrations. Just quiet gratitude and a deepening emotional connection to those who have walked this path with him. Is it possible that this soft-spoken, restrained artist has re-engineered the idea of what global pop success looks like? Industry experts are now revising their year-end predictions. Several insiders have anonymously indicated that Jin's song could disrupt Grammy nomination trajectories. If true, that would place him not only in Korean music history but in the broader pantheon of international music legends. But numbers, accolades, and awards aside, the most haunting legacy of Don't Say You Love Me might not be in what it achieved, but in what it revealed. IT revealed that even in an industry dominated by noise, simplicity can still speak the loudest. IT revealed that the artist who once stood slightly behind six others could command the entire stage alone, with nothing but a voice and a message. That IT revealed that vulnerability, when delivered with precision and honesty, can become a global weapon. And most of all, it revealed that Jin is no longer a part of history. He is history. What does the future hold? That question remains unanswered. But one truth is now undeniable. Jin has opened a door that will never close again. And those who once doubted whether a ballad sung in a language foreign to the Western mainstream could top the world's most influential charts, those voices are now silent. Because music doesn't need permission to be global. IT just needs to be true, and in this moment, nothing feels truer than Jin standing at number one, both literally and symbolically, holding the world in quiet awe.